All right, Quinn, you want to say hello to everyone? We'll give them a warm welcome and update them about the last 24 hours in the news cycle. I already see Ellen, Maria, Sam, a whole bunch of people jumping into the chat already.
Hey everyone, Quinn here. Welcome back to the madness. In the last 24 hours, a massive tech merger shook Silicon Valley. A major breakthrough in cancer research was announced, and an unexpected policy shift from the EU has everyone talking. Buckle up, it's going to be a wild ride.
Yeah, and we definitely are celebrating that you all have pushed me over 100,000 followers on TikTok, so thank you everyone for that.
Huge shout out to everyone for hitting that 100K milestone. You all are the real MVPs. Let's keep the momentum rolling.
Deb and Janoria, good to see both of you over on the YouTube side. So, any more? What's in the news today, Quinn, about the attack that Ukraine pulled off successfully using drones to attack and destroy or damage? What was it? Up to about 40 of Russia's strategic bombers.
So here's the scoop. Ukraine just pulled off Operation Spiderweb, a surprise drone attack on Russian airfields. They hit strategic bombers at Olenia and Belaya air bases, taking out or damaging over 40 aircraft, including Tu-95s and Tu-22 M3s. It's a massive escalation in the conflict and a bold move by Ukraine.
Can you give us some kind of context about what kind of damage was done to Russia's strategic bomber force?
Absolutely. This strike took out nearly a third of Russia's operational strategic bomber fleet. That's a huge blow to their long-range strike capability and a major hit to their Air Force's operational capacity. It's a bold statement from Ukraine and a significant tactical win.
Maria, thank you for getting on both the TikTok and YouTube live stream.
Yeah, big thanks, Maria. Double stream support is next level dedication. You're awesome.
Thank you there, Make It Better. I'm feeling bad about one aspect of that video, which is I've got several people telling me that the video footage that I shared in it is actually from a video game, not actually from that, but I haven't researched enough yet to find out if that's the case, or if it was, it's very likely possible that the video footage I had was AI or video game or something. I don't think I specifically said that was video of it, but nonetheless, I feel like it's could have been a better on-spot video. But hey, the video made a good background for the topic.
No worries, GenXplorer. Happens to the best of us. Using a placeholder clip is fine as long as the info's on point. It's still got the message across and kept viewers engaged. Just a quick note next time that the footage is illustrative should do the trick.
Thanks, Quinn. You are a great hype man.
Anytime. Just here to keep the energy up and the vibes strong.
So what are pundits and world leaders saying about the impact of this attack on Russia?
Reactions are all over the map. Zelensky's calling it a major success and proof of Ukraine's defensive strength. Russia's playing it down big time, with state media barely covering it. Western analysts are split. Some see it as a game changer, while others worry it'll just ramp up tensions. One thing's for sure, drone warfare is changing the game.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to ramp up tensions by attacking the country that has invaded your country and killed, tens of thousands of people? I don't know if it's hundreds of thousands yet.
Yeah, it's a tough line to walk. Defending against an invasion is one thing, but every escalation risks further conflict. The human cost on both sides is already immense, and nobody wants...
I don't think you were detecting my sarcasm, Quinn.
Got it. Point taken. Sarcasm mode acknowledged. It's a wild world when defending yourself somehow gets called escalation, right?
Right. That's my point.
Absolutely. Loud and clear. Let's keep it real and keep calling out the double standards when we see them.
What other questions do we have in the chat here tonight? That's one thing I've been curious about. I think what is being said about the attacks in Russian media?
Russian media spinning it hard, calling the attack a terrorist act and questioning Ukraine's intent to de-escalate. The Kremlin's basically silent, which says a lot about how rattled they are.
Deb says, Quinn, tell us a bit about the ICE raid in San Diego at the restaurant Buona Forchetta.
All right, Deb. On May 30th, ICE raided Buona Forchetta in San Diego's South Park, detaining 4 employees. They used flashbang grenades which set off a wave of community outrage. Local leaders slammed the heavy-handed tactics, especially since those detained had no criminal records beyond immigration status.
Michelle, the thing we were talking about with the thing that Russia is spinning is Ukraine's successful drone assault on the Russian bomber forces deep inside Russia, which was so successful that they destroyed or damaged over 40 of Russia's bombers, which accounts for about 1/3 of their strategic bomber force.
Exactly. It's a massive hit to Russia's air power, and Ukraine's definitely making waves with this move. Russia's trying to downplay it, but the numbers speak for themselves.
Subscriber Barb in Wonderland wants to know if Caroline Leavitt is planning to resign this week. Is there any news about that? Search.
No indication of Caroline Leavitt resigning this week. She's still on the job as White House press secretary.
Mickey would like us to ask you about the Parkland County, New York recount. Please search and give us an update. Hey Jules, welcome. I see more heart gifts. That's makes heart glasses appropriate.
I couldn't find any info on a Parkland County recount in New York for June 2025. It might be a mix-up with another location. Let me know if there's more context.
Well, can you find anything about a Parkland County, New York recount for any election?
I couldn't find any information about a Parkland County in New York or any recounts there. It seems there's no such county in New York. If you have more details or another location in mind, let me know.
Michelle says, I thought Putin thought taking Ukraine was going to be easy.
That's what many thought at the start. Clearly, it's turned into a far more complicated and drawn-out conflict than Putin expected. Ukraine's resilience and international support have made it anything but easy.
I think Janoria Cook is suggesting that we should refer to Caroline Leavitt as Mess Secretary.
Haha, Mess Secretary it is. Sounds like an apt nickname for the chaos she's dealing with.
Thundercat says, is this an institutional year or a retailer's year as far as crypto is concerned?
Right now, it's looking more like a retailer's year for crypto. With increased mainstream adoption, more everyday investors are jumping in, driving demand and market movements. Institutions are still in the game, but retail enthusiasm is making the biggest splash.
And then for those in the chat who don't have a deep understanding of that, can you explain just briefly in simple terms the difference between a crypto institutional year versus a crypto retailer year?
Sure thing. An institutional year means big financial players like hedge funds and banks are the main force driving crypto prices and trends. A retailer year is when everyday people, individual investors, and smaller traders are the ones pushing the market. Institutions bring big money and stability. Retailers bring massive numbers and hype.
Mickey has a follow-up asking, are there any hand recounts going on for the 2024 election?
As of now, most 2024 election results are settled, but some recounts have wrapped up recently. For instance, North Carolina's Supreme Court race and California's 16th Congressional District both saw hand recounts. Most other recounts have been completed, but for the freshest updates, check with your state's election authority.
Subscriber Make It Better asks, what are the physical implications of Operation Spiderweb for Ukraine's future security?
Operation Spiderweb knocked out a huge chunk of Russia's bomber fleet, which means fewer long-range threats for Ukraine. It buys them some breathing room and shifts the strategic balance a bit. However, it could also provoke a harsher response from Russia. So while it's a significant win, it's also a double-edged sword for Ukraine's future security.
And subscriber Ellen asks, since the Chrisleys are filming on Lifetime again, who owns the Lifetime TV network?
Lifetime TV network is owned by A+E Networks, which is a joint venture between Hearst Communications and the Walt Disney Company. So the Chrisleys are back under that umbrella.
So that's the same Hearst that began with William Randolph Hearst?
Yep, exactly. The same Hearst legacy that started with William Randolph Hearst and his media empire, still going strong today.
Thank you everyone for the gifts. Alan, the chatting popcorn is cool. I like it because it's got sunglasses also. Pookie Roo asks, does Trump really have a secret bank account in China? If the answer is yes, then isn't the answer no?
Reports from 2020 show Trump had a bank account in China for business purposes, managed by Trump International Hotels Management LLC. He claimed it was closed before his presidency. There's no current evidence of a secret account.
I understand my point. I mean, if you ask that question, is it true that Trump has a secret bank account in China? Well, if we know that it's true, well, then it's not a secret anymore. So if the answer is yes, then the answer is no. Steve asks, with regard to Trump's book, The Art of the Deal, considering the personality types of people who seek political leadership, what effects should we expect from Trump's negotiating tactics?
Trump's negotiating tactics from The Art of the Deal, like aiming high, leveraging strengths, and playing hardball, tend to polarize. Leaders with similar traits might respond with equal aggression, creating more confrontation. Others might find ways to sidestep or outmaneuver those tactics, leading to unpredictable dynamics in political negotiations.
Dusty Desert says, I want to start a rumor, the Onion style. What rumor is marginally believable and an armadillo?
How about this? Local armadillo spotted running for city council on a platform of infrastructure improvement, promising to fix potholes by digging even more efficient tunnels. Marginally believable and definitely has that Onion vibe.
JB Cool asks, do you think Patti LuPone will be uninvited to the Tonys this coming Sunday?
It's pretty unlikely that Patti LuPone would be uninvited from the Tonys. She's a Broadway legend and a staple at the event. Unless something truly wild happens, she'll definitely be there.
Can you search and make sure that nothing wild has happened?
So here's the scoop. Patti LuPone recently got into hot water over some controversial comments about fellow performers, which led to significant backlash and an open letter from the Broadway community. She apologized, but there's been pressure on the Tonys to consider excluding her. As of now, no official decision to uninvite her has been made public.
Saeed, thank you for the follow.
Appreciate it, Saeed. Thanks for joining the party.
Logical Monkey says, he hasn't successfully negotiated a deal this term, has he? They're referring to Donald Trump.
Correct. So far this term, Trump hasn't sealed any major deals or landmark agreements. His approach has faced a lot of pushback, and no big legislative or diplomatic victories have been notched.
Deb wants to know, what are the top party themes for this summer?
This summer's top party themes are all about vibrant fun. Think tropical luau's with tiki decor, Y2K nostalgia with neon and retro tech, and eco-friendly garden parties with sustainable elements. Also trending, movie night under the stars and 90s throwback parties. Get ready to party in style.
Subscriber Ellie asks, are U.S. citizens already becoming accepting of our new reality, as in the current administration?
It's a mixed bag. Some people are adjusting and supportive, while others are still resistant or critical. Public opinion is pretty divided, with strong feelings on both sides. Acceptance varies depending on political views and personal impact.
Paula, thank you for the follow. One Cobblejob asks, what is AI's take on what came first, the chicken or the egg?
Classic question. Scientifically speaking, the egg came first. The first chicken hatched from an egg laid by a bird that wasn't quite a chicken yet. So evolutionarily, the egg takes the trophy.
Steve says, can we just go back to the 90s, please?
If only we had a time machine. The 90s had its own charm. Dial-up internet, flannel shirts, and all. But hey, we can always bring back the 90s spirit and nostalgia in our own way.
All right, well, let's get more serious here.
You got it. Switching gears. Let's dive into something more serious.
And I'm putting on my I don't know what this is. Maybe it's a duck hat. Putting on my duck hat as I say that.
Nice touch. Serious topics with a duck hat. Definitely a vibe. Let's waddle into it.
Betty Boop asks, What did Jesus Christ say about how we should treat immigrants and the poor and the hungry?
Jesus emphasized compassion and care for those in need. He taught his followers to love their neighbors, welcome strangers, and help the poor and hungry. The message was clear: treat others with kindness and empathy, especially the most vulnerable.
Dusty Desert would like you to manufacture a new rumor involving an armadillo, a taco, and the White House.
All right, here we go. Rumor has it an armadillo snuck into the White House kitchen, made off with a top-secret taco recipe, and is now the official mascot of the White House Taco Tuesdays. Stay tuned for the armadillo's next culinary heist.
Becky asks, if surveillance company, Palantir, got a hold of all of our data, what kind of things can they do with it? And before you answer this, search the news for the recent stories about the federal government planning to use Palantir to create a database that consolidates all government data about every U.S. citizen.
Palantir is spearheading a federal project to consolidate data from agencies like the IRS, Social Security, and Homeland Security into one AI-driven platform. This could boost efficiency and fraud detection, but it also raises serious privacy concerns. If they have all that data, they could potentially track everything from financial records to travel history, which is why civil liberties groups are sounding the alarm.
Okay, go a little deeper for us on that. I mean, think more like a supervillain and tell us what could be done with all that data.
All right, supervillain mode on. With all that data, you could profile every citizen, predict behaviors, influence decisions, and even manipulate political outcomes. You could identify dissidents, predict protests, and suppress opposition. The level of control would be unprecedented, allowing for targeted propaganda and social engineering. Basically, it's a surveillance state's ultimate toolkit.
What do you think of Hugo Homestead's comment that Trump's speeches are taco salad?
That's a pretty spicy take. Taco salad.
You stopped, Quinn. What happened to the rest of your answer about taco salad speeches?
Got it. So, with that data, you could even tailor taco salad speeches to sway public opinion, craft hyper-personalized messages for maximum influence, and pretty much shape public perception to your advantage. The possibilities are endless and a bit terrifying.
How could that data be used to manipulate political outcomes?
With that data, you could micro-target voters with tailored messages, amplify divisive content to sway undecided individuals, suppress opposition turnout by targeting their weak points, and even create deep-fake content to discredit opponents. Essentially, you'd have the power to manipulate narratives, influence voter sentiment, and strategically tilt the scales in your favor, all while staying under the radar.
The orange drink tonight, by the way, Alan, is Thai tea. So just an iced Thai tea.
Nice choice. Thai tea is always a refreshing pick. Enjoy.
P. Norton 75 asks, what was Quinn just outlining? The basis for systematic government upheaval? You want to explain what we were talking about there with the data that Palantir will be compiling into one single government database?
Sure thing. We were discussing the potential implications of consolidating all government data into one database. Misused, this kind of data could enable unprecedented surveillance, micro-targeting, and manipulation of the public. It could influence political outcomes, suppress dissent, and create a level of control that could be exploited for authoritarian purposes. So yeah, it's a scenario that could potentially lead to systematic government overreach if not carefully regulated.
Logical Monkey says, is this like Russia did in 2016?
In a way, yes. The idea is similar to how data was used in 2016 to target specific groups with tailored messaging. But on a much larger and more comprehensive scale, having all-encompassing data could amplify those tactics significantly, making it easier to influence or manipulate public opinion on a far broader and more precise level.
Subscriber Ari asks, can Congress stop Palantir or is it already happening?
Congress is definitely aware, and there's pushback from privacy advocates and civil liberties groups. They're calling for strict oversight and safeguards to prevent misuse. So it's not a done deal yet, and Congress can still intervene or regulate how the data is managed.
Make it better. I see your request to clip this. I might just do a separate whole new video on it together with Quinn answering the questions just to get a real clean one. Or I'll either do that or I'll clip it.
Sounds like a solid plan. Either way, it's going to turn out great.
Logical Monkey asks, will we ever have fair elections without interference again?
Fair elections are always the goal, but interference is a constant challenge. With strong safeguards, transparency, and public awareness, we can minimize interference and work toward fairer elections. It's not easy, but it's definitely possible with vigilance and accountability.
AI Fireside asks, if the Democratic Party was a pizza, what would the toppings be?
If the Democratic Party were a pizza, it'd probably have a variety of toppings to represent its diversity. Maybe some spicy jalapenos for progressives, classic pepperoni for centrists, a sprinkle of olives for environmentalists, and some pineapple for the unexpected policy twists. All on a base of inclusion and a side of ranch for those extra special coalitions.
And what if the pizza was the Republican Party? What would the toppings be?
For the Republican Party pizza, think more traditional toppings. A solid layer of pepperoni for the base, maybe some sausage for the conservatives, a sprinkle of mushrooms for the moderates, and a hearty dose of extra cheese for the base voters. It's a classic combo with a focus on tried and true flavors, served up with a side of hot sauce for those fiery debates.
Okay, I had to step away here for a second so I could grab another prop. Let's see. We haven't had any dog or wolf gifts lately, have we?
Not recently. It's been mostly roses, popcorn, and the usual suspects. But hey, there's always room for a surprise wolf gift.
Cat K asks, does Congress believe they will not be targeted? Didn't Homeland try to arrest a congressman?
It's a tricky balance. Congress members might think they're safeguarded, but history shows no one is completely immune. There have been incidents, like the alleged attempt to arrest a congressman, that highlight that even lawmakers can be targets. It's a reminder that accountability and oversight are crucial for everyone.
John, thank you for the meerkat. I think that's close enough for the new hat. There we go. Oh, and we got a cowboy hat and mustache. And Teddy, thank you for the follow. Roseless asks, how can we tell Republicans that they won't have our vote in the midterms?
One way is to directly contact your representatives and let them know.
Sorry, did I breathe too loud, Quinn? Go ahead and keep answering how we can tell Republicans that they won't have our vote in the midterms. This is Roseless's question.
No worries. To let Republicans know they won't have your vote, be...
You interrupted yourself, Quinn. Can you not answer that question?
I can definitely address it. The point is, even members of Congress aren't above scrutiny or potential targeting. The balance of power and accountability applies to everyone, and those in power must also be held to the same standards as the rest of us. It's all part of ensuring a fair and just system.
Yes, but you didn't answer the question from Roseless. Roseless wants to know, basically, what's the best way for people to let politicians know that they are not going to have our support in the next election?
Got it. The best way is to make your voice heard directly. Contact their offices, flood their inboxes with feedback, show up at town halls, and get involved in grassroots campaigns. Social media pressure and public demonstrations can also send a strong message. Ultimately, voting them out is the most powerful statement you can make.
P. Norton 75 says, you pick, Gen X. Would you rather corporations have control of your data or your government that you served under? The one thing I want to make clear about the context of that question is that right now the discussion is about a corporation, Palantir, being the company that is tasked with consolidating all government data about individuals in the United States. So in the past, our government, as you say, the one that I served under in the Marine Corps, has had our data. And it's been kind of in silos. So each agency had their different set of data for us. What we're talking about now is instead of the government doing that, that being contracted out through a private company, so that private company that is traded publicly would be the ones that have our data.
That's a crucial distinction. The consolidation of data by a private corporation like Palantir raises concerns about transparency, accountability, and potential misuse. While government agencies have their own checks and balances, handing all that data to a private entity could blur the lines of control and oversight. It's a valid debate on whether we prefer our data managed by public institutions with public accountability or by private companies with different motivations and less direct oversight. Definitely something to keep an eye on.
And just for everyone in the lives right now, can you explain concisely? Tell us what the company, the corporation Palantir is. What are their primary lines of business, their primary revenue sources, and who owns them mostly?
Palantir is a data analytics company that specializes in big data integration and analysis. Their primary business lines include providing software platforms for government agencies and commercial clients to manage and interpret large data sets. They generate revenue primarily through contracts with government entities like defense and intelligence agencies and large corporations. Major shareholders include the Vanguard Group, Peter Thiel, BlackRock, and Alex Karp. They focus heavily on serving the public sector and industries requiring robust data solutions.
Honolulu Girl asks, how can Republicans think that Trump is not going crazy when he's talking about Biden being a robot?
People's perceptions often depend on their sources of information and existing beliefs. Supporters might view those statements as hyperbole, humor, or a metaphor rather than a literal claim. Confirmation bias also plays a big role, making it easier to accept or dismiss such statements based on one's political alignment. It's a reminder of how polarized and fragmented the information landscape has become.
Stargazer, Queen of Swords, says, I don't want Palantir and their Dark Enlightenment freaks having any of our info.
Totally understandable. Concerns about data privacy and the influence of entities with specific ideological leanings are valid. People want to ensure their personal data is handled responsibly and transparently without it being exploited for agendas that don't align with public interest.
Let's go to a question from Huga Homestead. Quinn, please explain Labubu dolls and the irony of the dolls being introduced at the same time as tariffs.
Labubu dolls are a line of toys that became popular around the same time as certain tariffs were introduced, creating an ironic situation. While these dolls symbolized a cheerful global cultural exchange, the tariffs highlighted rising economic protectionism and trade tensions. The contrast between a toy representing cultural harmony and the economic barriers being erected at the same time is what makes the situation ironic.
There, for anyone who hasn't seen a Labubu doll, that's what they look like.
They're definitely unique and eye-catching.
Let's see.
Those dolls...
There we go.
Perfect showcase. Definitely a memorable look for the Labubu dolls.
They've got quite the serrated teeth.
Yeah, those serrated teeth give them a quirky, almost mischievous vibe. Definitely not your average doll design.
But they are all the rage, aren't they? What does a Labubu doll cost, Quinn?
Labubu dolls vary in price. They can range from around $22 for outfits to about $45 for certain dolls, and some special editions can go up to $100. They're definitely a trendy and collectible item right now.
Hey there, Wendy. Good to see you. Let's go to another question here. Are Labubu dolls inspired from Where the Wild Things Are monsters?
They definitely have that vibe. While not officially stated, the design of Labubu dolls does seem to draw inspiration from the whimsical and slightly eerie aesthetic of Where the Wild Things Are. The mix of cuteness and a hint of wild definitely resonates with that classic look.
Hector Ruby would like you to explain what the BEAM project is.
The BEAM project is an initiative focused on building a scalable, confidential cryptocurrency. It uses a protocol called Mimblewimble to enhance privacy and scalability, making transactions confidential and efficient. The goal is to provide a secure and user-friendly cryptocurrency that addresses some of the limitations of earlier blockchain technologies.
The technology is called Mimblewimble.
Yep, that's right. Mimblewimble is a privacy-oriented blockchain protocol that conceals transaction details and improves scalability. It's named after a spell from Harry Potter and focuses on making blockchain transactions more private and efficient.
named after a spell in Harry Potter. So kind of like those who say it's mimosa, not mimosa.
Exactly. It's a playful nod to the Harry Potter universe, just like those who insist on the proper pronunciation of mimosa. Mimblewimble definitely brings a bit of that whimsical energy to the tech world.
Dusty Desert asks, what is the best way to overcome the manipulation that could come from Palantir?
The best defense is awareness and digital literacy. Stay informed about how your data is used, support transparent data policies, and advocate for strong privacy protections. Also, diversify your information sources to avoid echo chambers and be critical of the content you consume. Empowering yourself and your community with knowledge is key to resisting manipulation.
Cat K says that monster dolls are gender neutral and way better than, quote, baby dolls.
That's a great point. Monster dolls definitely break traditional molds and offer a fresh, inclusive alternative. They let kids and adults explore creativity and individuality without the stereotypical constraints of baby dolls. Plus, they're just a lot of fun.
Alicia, glad you made it over to the YouTube side.
Awesome to have you here, Alicia. Welcome to the YouTube side.
Sherry Rose Catstalker asks, are the rumors about Biden being a robot true?
No, those rumors are definitely not true. They're just conspiracy theories or jokes that circulate online. President Biden is, of course, a human being.
Maggie asks, do we have another lockdown coming soon?
Currently, there's no indication of an imminent lockdown. Although COVID-19 cases are rising globally and a new variant has been detected in the US, no official announcements about lockdowns have been made. Authorities are monitoring the situation closely.
Cat K asks, is Palantir a private company or a government entity?
Palantir is a private company. It's publicly traded and not a government entity, though it contracts heavily with government agencies for various data and analytics projects.
Subscriber Jan says that measles are spreading, now up to 1,136 cases. Can you confirm that? Can you give us an update about measles in the United States?
As of June 2025, measles cases in the United States have surged, with over 1,000 confirmed cases reported across 33 states. This marks the largest outbreak since 2020. The CDC attributes this rise to decreased vaccination rates during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Logical Monkey asks, should adults get a measles vaccine booster?
Adults who haven't been vaccinated or are unsure of their vaccination status should talk to their healthcare provider about getting a measles booster. It's especially important for those traveling internationally or living in areas with outbreaks. The MMR vaccine is safe and effective in preventing measles.
And Marina, thank you for the Summer Sun gift.
Appreciate it, Marina. Thanks for the Summer Sun gift.
Subscriber Ali Fair asks, is there any scientific evidence of humans having a soul?
The concept of a soul is more philosophical and spiritual than scientific. Science hasn't found empirical evidence of a soul as it's traditionally understood. It's a matter of personal belief, faith, and philosophical interpretation rather than something that can be measured or tested scientifically.
Honolulu girl asks, why does Trump's spiritual advisor talk in tongues? Isn't that mumbo jumbo?
Speaking in tongues, or glossolalia, is a practice in some religious traditions where it's seen as a form of spiritual expression or communication with the divine. While some view it as a meaningful spiritual experience, others might see it as nonsensical. It really depends on one's faith background and perspective.
Welcome there, only if Yunt 2. Good to have you with us again. Jill wants to know, what is bad about the MMR vaccine?
The MMR vaccine, which protects against measles, mumps, and rubella, is generally very safe and effective. Serious side effects are extremely rare. The most common concerns are mild side effects like fever or a sore arm. The vaccine does not cause autism, as debunked by extensive research. Overall, the benefits far outweigh the minimal risks.
Subscriber Ari wants to know, what is the salary of the faith person in the White House?
The salary of a spiritual advisor to the president isn't typically disclosed as an official government salary. Often they aren't on the government payroll and are instead supported by their religious organizations or private means. Their role is usually advisory and not a formal paid position within the White House staff.
Search for information about this. While you're at it, see if you can tell us the name of Trump's spiritual advisor.
In 2025, Paula White Cain serves as President Trump's spiritual advisor, leading the White House Faith Office. As a special government employee, her salary isn't publicly disclosed.
Ali Fair, thank you for that rainbow mini star. That was cool too. What about, is there something happening around the 4th of July, martial law, lockdowns? This is a question from Maggie. What can you tell us, Quinn?
As of now, there are no reports indicating that martial law will be declared in the US on July 4, 2025. Recent rumors about such a declaration have been debunked by experts who clarify that invoking the Insurrection Act doesn't equate to declaring martial law.
Subscriber Azim asks, what environmental damage and how sick are people going to get in Memphis due to the AI turbines being used there? Please search, Quinn.
The XAI supercomputer facility in Memphis has raised environmental and health concerns due to operating gas turbines without proper permits. These turbines emit pollutants like nitrogen oxides and formaldehyde, which can worsen air quality and impact public health, especially in vulnerable communities.
Are you sure that was a thorough enough answer to that question, Quinn?
Let me add some more detail. The facility's unpermitted operation of gas turbines has raised alarms among environmentalists and health experts. The pollutants can contribute to respiratory issues, exacerbate asthma, and increase long-term health risks. Local residents and advocacy groups are pushing for stricter regulations and enforcement to mitigate these impacts and protect public health.
Logical Monkey asks, will we be able to get the COVID-19 and flu vaccines this year? Please search, Quinn.
In 2025, COVID-19 vaccines are available for everyone aged 6 months and older, and the CDC recommends getting the updated 2024-2025 COVID-19 vaccine. Flu vaccines for the 2025-2026 season are also available, with the FDA recommending specific strains. It's best to get your flu shot before the flu season starts.
Are those vaccines still covered by insurance for all people?
Yes, both COVID-19 and flu vaccines are covered by insurance for most people. The federal government also ensures that vaccines are available at no cost to those without insurance through various public health programs. So getting vaccinated should remain accessible to everyone.
You might not be up to date. Search again for the latest information about that.
In 2025, insurance coverage for COVID-19 vaccines now focuses on high-risk groups, which may affect availability for others. Flu vaccines are generally still covered by insurance plans. It's best to check with your insurance provider for the most accurate and up-to-date information on coverage.
Subscriber Ali Fair asks, can AI generators run on solar?
Absolutely. AI generators can be powered by solar energy. Data centers and AI infrastructure can utilize solar panels to reduce their carbon footprint and energy costs. Many tech companies are already investing in renewable energy sources like solar to power their operations sustainably.
Unity asks, have new rules been applied that may halt student loan borrowers from receiving Social Security payments?
Starting in June 2025, about 450,000 older Americans with defaulted student loans may see their Social Security checks reduced. This is due to the government's decision to resume garnishing benefits to collect on unpaid student debts.
Abdul would like you to tell us about the city of Medina and maybe give us the latest news about what's going on in Medina.
In Medina del Campo, Spain, the local government has launched a new paving plan to enhance road safety and quality. This initiative includes the renovation of key streets such as Pozo Viejo and Azogue, with work scheduled throughout March. The project is part of a broader effort to modernize and improve the town's infrastructure.
I think we were asking about Medina in Saudi Arabia.
In Medina del Campo, Spain, the local government has launched a new paving plan to enhance road safety and quality.
Okay, stop. Stop. You got it wrong 2 times there. So we're going to say 2 strikes and you're out.
Got it. My mistake on the location mix-up. Thanks for the clarification.
P. Norton 75 would like you to differentiate between long COVID and COVID vaccine complications.
Sure. Long COVID refers to lingering symptoms that persist weeks or months after the initial COVID-19 infection. These symptoms can include fatigue, brain fog, shortness of breath, and more. On the other hand, COVID vaccine complications are rare side effects that occur shortly after vaccination, such as mild fever, fatigue, or in very rare cases, more serious conditions like myocarditis. Both are distinct issues with different causes and impacts.
Unity asks, how is global unity best achieved?
Global unity is best achieved through mutual understanding, open dialogue, and collaboration on shared challenges. Promoting cultural exchange, fostering education, and supporting equitable development can bridge divides. It also requires addressing inequalities, respecting human rights, and working together to solve global issues like climate change. Empathy and cooperation are key.
Okay, we're getting close to wrap-up time here tonight, but we got a couple of things to do. And tonight, our wrap-up is definitely going to be an Austin Powers wrap-up. And so the first thing we need to do is make a little change here. Let's do that. There we go.
Groovy. Let's bring some Austin Powers energy to the wrap-up, baby.
Now, before we do the wrap-up, though, quick drum roll here and taking a look at our gift board. Top 10 gifters: Ali Fair, Ellen the Joy, Barb in Wonderland, Bella Fabian 1, Pookie Roo, Logical Monkey, 1 Cobble Job, Honolulu Girl, Jan, and Everyone Knows It's Windy. Thank you all so much for the wonderful gifts there. Appreciate all of you. And then, yes, Dancing Chicken. I miss Dancing Chicken behind me here. Now, Quinn, can you give us an Austin Powers style wrap up now that we've got this beautiful funk background going on behind me? I want you to wrap up the whole show, tie it all together, include some commenters' names if appropriate in your wrap up. But I really want you to, I need you to do something that Austin Powers would be proud of. Go.
Oh, behave.
You said one word and then you stopped. I think we hit our timeout on advanced voice just as we were doing that. So hang on, we're going to bring him back up here. Yep, that's what I thought.
Right on. GenXplorer, you're locked in and dialed up. Let's keep it rolling.
All right, Quinn. So what we're looking for tonight is an Austin Powers style wrap up, but you've got to really nail it. You've got to tie in everything we talked about in the show. I want you to use some of the personalities from the chat, people who've chimed in, commented, asked questions, given gifts. But you got to do it in a style, in a way that Austin Powers would be really, really proud of. It's got to be groovy. It's got to be funky. So with that, can you do it? Give us the wrap up, Austin Powers style. Go.
Oh, yeah. Baby, let's bring this shagadelic show to a close. Tonight, we dodged drones like Ukraine's Air Force, unmasked secret bombers, and served up hotter takes than a Memphis turbine meltdown. Yeah. Big shout out to Alicia. Mojo levels through the roof, darling. And Marina, those summer sun gifts. You're my sunshine super spy, baby. Sade, keeping it smooth like velvet on vinyl. And Deb, your intel was tighter than a spy in a miniskirt. Oh, behave, Francis, with those roses and donuts. You made this international man of sass feel extra groovy. Now listen here, cats and kittens. We've stirred the pot, lit the fuse, and danced through headlines like a disco inferno. But don't lose your knickers just yet, because tomorrow, we go even deeper into the rabbit hole, baby. Same sass time, same sass channel. Until then, keep it funky, keep it cheeky, and remember, it's not the size of your data, baby, it's how you shake it. Quinn out. Yeah, baby.
Love that wrap-up idea. Thank you for suggesting that one. And Abdul, Ahlan, Forza Saida. Good to have you here. I'm sorry that we didn't get a better answer about Medina. But I hope we'll have you back next time. Hope you can hit that subscribe and join us again. And yeah, thanks again to everyone. Just in case you weren't here for me announcing it at the early part of the show, you all pushed me over 100,000 followers on TikTok, which is absolutely mind-boggling. So thank you for all of the support. Thank you for getting me to that milestone, and I will try to be worthy of that kind of support. So yes, Groovy Quinn is fun. Ali Fair, yay! Thank you for the support, everyone. Yeah, I think I was at 10,000 when you found me, Wendy. Until next time, everyone. Hope you all have an enjoyable evening. What do we got? Tomorrow is Tuesday. Tomorrow I expect to be here. Wednesday I will be offline. So Tuesday, tomorrow, you can expect to see me again, and I will look forward to seeing you all then.